What's going on, everybody? This is Afro Think Tank. Nigeria military is stepping into the future, and they are modernizing their military to match their future superpower status. Yes, they are doing that. Now, I know Nigeria have had some issues in the past, and they have issues now, right? They have security concerns that need to be dealt with before the country is able to bring in more investment from other countries to build their economies to become that first world nation that they should have already been. But, you know, we can't cry over spilled milk. Let's look towards the future. So Nigeria is building alliances with other African countries and other African militaries, which is very important, especially South Africa, right? Despite the historical issues between Nigeria and South Africa with its civilian population, the militaries, right, the people, the serious men and women of Africa are combining themselves and cooperating militarily to improve military cooperation, coverage, and security for both countries. Nigeria is also making deals with other countries that are really good at manufacturing certain military pieces of equipment that's necessary for Nigeria to secure itself, both its skies and on land, right? These are the seeds being planted that's going to grow into a great forest of prosperity for Nigeria. And I want to bring that to you. Don't believe that these African countries are sitting idly by. Just as you see the AES also stepping their game up, doing exactly the same thing, Nigeria is doing the same thing as well. All African countries are currently, who are able to do it, are stepping their game up by making strategic allies with various different countries in order to procure equipment and procure the know-how to build their own technology. They're also utilizing their super intelligent youth who are coming back to their African countries, coming back to Nigeria, and using their intellect and their know-how to build homegrown equipment so they won't be subservient to other countries that can dangle their equipment over top of them for leverage. Nigeria itself is starting to build leverage, which is important. If you have not noticed, a lot of African countries have not just been laying down to what the West wants them to do like they used to. Now, you're going to have security cooperation with Nigeria and America. I know a lot of people who don't know anything about the military or how international politics works. You see Americans in Nigeria and you think that's some sort of imperial colonization type move. But in fact, it's not. It's definitely not. What it is there's interest, right? There is a oil pipeline that's being built from Nigeria all the way up to Morocco. The corridor on the Western Hemisphere is going to be the richest corridor in the world, just like from Atlanta all the way up to New York in America is the richest corridor in the world. Right across the water, literally right next to it, from Nigeria all the way up to Cameroon is going to be the next richest corridor in the world. Therefore, all nations who need resources from Africa, it behooves them to secure the area and make the place safe so that businesses come in and invest. Despite what a lot of people believe, you still need outside countries to come in and invest in your country. That's how the nation works. America has every country in the world building things within America, investing in every country, including all of our enemies, i.e. China. China is our supposed number one enemy, but yet there are many Chinese companies in America. Chinese companies also own much of the land in America. Chinese companies own ports in America. And vice versa. American companies own assets in China, right? So if that's the way business works, it's not far-fetched to believe that China is going to own things in Nigeria. And then Nigeria is going to have businesses and own things in China. This is what international agreements are. This is what making deals is, right? It's international. Nigeria is stepping up its international presence, and that requires making deals with other countries, right? Utilizing the resources they have for leverage. So that's what's happening. So I'm going to bring you a little bit of information so you can check it out and see that Nigeria is not idly standing by. And Nigeria is, in fact, despite all the problems that they have, they are taking the necessary steps that's necessary in order to elevate themselves economically and socially so they can have a better future for their people, right? Now, of course, there are things that could be done better, right? And then an elections is coming up, and we'll find out if the Nigerians believe that there's a faster, better, more efficient way, right? Depending on who they choose, right? Or, the same thing's going to happen that happened last time, right? And things will go the way they're going to go. But either way, Nigeria and most West African countries are on an upwards trajectory. And trust and believe, our children And our children's children will see a different Africa for the ones that we see today. Anyway, you tell me what you think in the comment section. Just Afro Think Tank. Learn something, teach something. I'm out.
Well, Nigeria and South Africa are moving to deepen military cooperation as the chief of the South African Army, Lawrence Mbatha, visits key defense institutions in Kaduna State. Now, the visit to the Nigerian Defense Academy focuses on expanding training partnerships, exchange programs, and defense production collaboration. Lupiesa reports.
Chief of the South African Army, Lieutenant General Lawrence Mbatha, arrives in Kaduna on a walking visit to key Nigerian defense institutions. He visits the Nigerian Defense Academy, the Armed Forces Command and Staff College in Jaji, and the Defense Industries Corporation of Nigeria. Lieutenant General Mbatha says such engagements allow both armies to benchmark their training systems and share professional best practices.
I can say that we came for the right purpose, and the objective of this visit has been attained, in the sense that we are really learning and our exchange views together on this particular visit from this particular area. I think it has also already been indicated that some of the defense companies in South Africa, specifically Denel, they already have an engagement. So it is really a very sobering visit, and it is quite beneficial for us, and it was the right decision for one to be here. And I must say, the welcoming has been quite professional and very commendable, and the displays themselves, they are of a very high stature. So one is quite impressed.
He commended the professionalism and integrated academic and military curriculum at the Nigerian Defense Academy in Afaka. And at the Armed Forces Command and Staff College, Jaji, he notes that Nigeria and South Africa are already exchanging direct staff and students.
We have a cooperation, these agreements that are in place, that is military ones. And with regards to this visit, being a working visit, in this particular area, we normally define it as a benchmarking process. And the impression is quite commendable in the sense that units that I visited, starting from the National Defense Academy, we are coming now from the Armed Forces Joint Staff. I must say that the Defense Academy, if you can look how they've integrated their curriculum, it is much to learn from that process from our side and how they've integrated their curriculums.
Analysts say the engagements will help both countries share operational experience in tackling terrorism, insurgency, and other emerging security threats. His stop at the Defense Industry Corporation of Nigeria also signals growing interest in strengthening Africa's local defense production capacity. Observers believe closer military ties between Nigeria and South Africa could help shape a stronger African-led approach to security and stability across the continent. Lope Asam, TVC News, Kaduna.
Did you know Nigeria just built a killer combat drone capable of dropping bombs? In a bold move shaking up Africa's defense space, Nigeria has unveiled its first ever indigenous combat drone, the Demisa, built by local tech company Briech UAS in partnership with the Nigerian military. This powerful drone isn't just for surveillance. It's equipped to carry and drop bombs, and it's part of a growing lineup of locally made military-grade weapons. Presented at the Briech UAS headquarters in Abuja, the unveiling included locally made explosive devices and was attended by top-ranking officials, including the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa. He made it clear, Nigeria is done waiting for foreign countries to arm it. The Demisa drone represents speed, innovation, and sovereignty in tackling Nigeria's security threats. This major leap shows that African nations are waking up to the reality. Building homegrown defense tech is no longer optional, it's survival. Could this be the beginning of a new military tech race in Africa?
Have you ever wondered why African nations struggle to defend themselves despite spending billions on military equipment? The answer lies not in what they are buying, but in who they are buying it from. For decades, African security has been held hostage by foreign powers, but something just happened in Nigeria that could change everything. In April 2025, Nigeria unveiled something that got global powers nervously looking over their shoulders: the continent's first indigenous attack drones. But this isn't about flying machines. It's about something that is far more bigger that no one is talking about. What if I told you that Nigeria's drones aren't just weapons, they are declarations of independence? And what if this single development could transform completely the relationship that Africa has with the West, China, and Russia forever? Stay with me, because in the next few minutes, I will reveal why this breakthrough matters more than anyone realizes. Who is really threatened by it, and the shocking truth about why global powers have kept Africa so dependent for far too long. Let's start with a story that exposes the brutal reality of Africa's security dependence. In 2023, Burkina Faso needed to launch an urgent counter-terrorism operation against militants threatening 2 villages. But there was a problem. They didn't have enough armored vehicles. So they did what many African nations are forced to do. They borrowed equipment from neighboring Niger. By the time the vehicles finally arrived, the militants had already moved on. The delay cost dozens of lives, and 2 villages were lost. Now, this isn't an isolated incident. According to research, a staggering 75% of counter-terrorism operations in the Sahel are stalled or completely derailed by procurement delays. Did you hear that? 75% of counter-terrorism operations are stalled or completely derailed by procurement delays. But why does this happen? There are 3 main reasons that powerful nations don't want you to know about. First, we have deliberate delays. When Africa buys weapons, delivery time is mysteriously often extended. Now, we saw this example when Nigeria bought Tucano planes from the US, something that could take weeks. It took 7 years for the American government to deliver Tucano jets to Nigeria, who were in that situation fighting against Boko Haram. And so Boko Haram continued giving havoc to Nigeria during that period. What was delaying the delivery of these jets? And this is not an isolated incident. It happens all the time when Africa asks for weapons from the West. Sometimes you wonder why these terrorists flourish when the state clearly has an advantage over them. Second, political strings. Every bullet, every drone, every rifle comes with political conditions. We will sell you these weapons if and only if you vote for us at the UN, or only if you give us access to your resources, or only if you align with our foreign policy. As one African defense minister put it bluntly, why must our sovereignty be negotiated for bullets? Third, corruption and mismatched equipment. Up to 40% of arms exports to the Middle East and Africa involve corruption. Foreign powers sell equipment designed for European winters to African nations fighting in the Sahel heat and humidity, where they quickly fail. But here is what you need to understand. This isn't incompetence, it is strategy. A dependent Africa is a controllable Africa. And the control of Africa means control of the continent's vast resources. The rare earth minerals powering your smartphone, the oil fueling the global economies, the agricultural land feeding millions. In a minute, I will show you why Nigeria's breakthrough changes everything. But first, let me explain to you what actually happened. On April 3rd, 2025, in an unassuming facility in Abuja, Nigeria's military and Bright UAS unveiled something extraordinary: the continent's first indigenous manufactured attack drones, complete with bombs and missiles. This was a military-grade weapon system designed, built, and tested entirely within Nigeria. A system that can track insurgents, protect oil infrastructure, and respond to security threats without asking permission from anyone. General Christopher Musa, Nigeria's Chief of Defense Staff, didn't mince words about what this means. He said,
"In a world where the global politics surrounding the procurement of advanced military hardware Particularly combat drones have become more intricate. Countries that do not produce such solutions are made to face bureaucratic bottlenecks and diplomatic hurdles in acquiring these critical platforms. We are facing such challenges directly, so we know what it means. If you don't produce what you need, you'll be held whenever you need them, even with your money at hand.
Let that sink in. For decades, Nigeria has had the money to buy advanced military hardware, but has always been denied access or forced to wait for years due to bureaucratic processes and diplomatic hurdles. Do you really see a bit of contrast in this situation when we talk about Ukraine? Sometimes before they announce that they're going to send some weapons to Ukraine, the weapons are already in Ukraine. But in the case of Africa, we need to wait for years. I gave an example earlier, 7 years. Within that time, what insurgency wouldn't have eaten up your security? The real reason behind this crisis is something no one is talking about, but we will get to that in a moment. What makes this drone program?
At an age when most people are still figuring out their next move, two young Nigerians are already rewriting Africa's tech story. Nathan Nwachukwu is 22, Maxwell Maduka is 24, and together they are building something that's turning global heads. Their startup, Terra Industries, just secured $11.75 million in funding, one of the biggest raises in African defense tech. The round was led by U.S. venture capital firm 8VC, co-founded by Palantir's Joe Lonsdale, with support from major players including Valor Equity Partners, Lux Capital, SV Angel, Silent Ventures, and top angel investors. Terra Industries design autonomous defense systems that help governments and infrastructure operators monitor and protect assets across land, air, and sea. The company says its technology is already safeguarding nearly $11 billion worth of critical infrastructure across Africa, from power plants to mining sites. And then the big flex is that Nathan and Maxwell built Africa's largest drone factory right in Abuja. A massive 15,000 square foot facility now serves as a production hub, positioning Nigeria at the forefront of defense technology innovation on the continent. From attracting elite global investors to building world-class infrastructure at home, their journey shows what's possible when talent meets opportunity. These two young founders didn't just raise money. They built belief in African innovation, African engineering, and an African future powered by homegrown tech. Do stories like this make you more confident in Africa's tech future? Share your thoughts in the comment section and follow MBG Africa for more stories.
Nigeria buys 43 Turkish drones to boost security efforts. The federal government has enhanced the Nigerian army's capabilities by acquiring 43 Turkish Bayraktar TB2 drones for use in the northwest. Moreover, 46 personnel have been trained in Turkey in drone operation and maintenance, including 14 pilots, 7 mission operators, and 23 engineers and technicians. The effort, called Project Guardian, is designed to boost military operations against insurgency and security challenges in the area.
Nigeria is doing something that has shocked the world, taking full control of its skies with a brand new radar system that can track every plane, drone, or missile over its land. For too long, the country's airspace was left exposed, leaving it dependent on foreign powers. But now that weakness is ending. This move isn't just about defense, it's about sovereignty. Nigeria will no longer rely on outsiders to watch its skies. Instead, it's building the strength to guard its own people, its resources, and its future. What makes this even bigger is the global battle behind the scenes. China and Europe are racing to secure the contract, each offering advanced technology and billions in investment. But whichever side Nigeria chooses will shape who really gains influence in Africa's skies. And the impact goes much further. With stronger air security, oil fields can be protected, trade routes can expand safely, and Nigeria will hold more power across West Africa. This is more than just a radar system. It's a statement to the world that Nigeria is rising, confident, and ready to take its place as a true giant on the continent.
Welcome to Inside Africa. Today we're looking at Nigeria's growing defense industry, how the country is building its own weapons, vehicles, and aircraft, while also partnering with other nations to stay ahead of security threats. Nigeria has been investing in local production through the Defense Industries Corporation of Nigeria, or DICON. This includes small arms, ammunition, bombs, and artillery shells. The Nigerian Air Force has already tested homegrown air-to-ground rockets during combat operations. These rockets, together with locally built rocket pods and gun pods, are fitted on aircraft to support ground troops, reducing dependence on foreign suppliers. One of the most exciting projects is Nigeria's first locally built helicopter.
In a focus group engagement in Kaduna State, the event was attended by inventors and manufacturers drawn from academia and private sectors to promote local manufacturing, innovation, and the adoption of made in Nigeria products. Government officials, industry leaders, and innovators were also in attendance, discussing policies that will drive Nigeria's industrial and technological growth. Please, I want to give a round of applause for this.
Developed by Nassini and the Air Force Institute of Technology, this helicopter is now complete and undergoing certification before its first flight. This project will train Nigerian engineers in aircraft production and maintenance, skills needed for future independence. Nigeria is also making progress in drone technology. The locally developed Tsaigumi UAV is already being used for surveillance and intelligence missions. There are also ongoing projects to design and build combat drones, which will allow the country to carry out precision strikes without risking pilots. Nigeria now produces general-purpose bombs for its Air Force, along with air-to-ground rockets. These programs keep the Air Force supplied, even during times when foreign imports are delayed. On the ground, Nigeria produces vehicles like the Azugwu MRAP, designed to protect troops from ambushes and IEDs. These vehicles have been deployed in counterinsurgency operations across the country. In addition to local production, Nigeria is modernizing its air force with new purchases. From Italy, Nigeria is acquiring 24 M346 fighter ground attack jets and 10 AW109 Trekker helicopters, which will boost both air combat and tactical support missions. Nigeria has also taken delivery of Bell UH-1H Huey helicopters for troop transport and medical evacuation, and is expected to receive 12 AH-1Z Viper attack helicopters from the United States to strengthen close air support operations. There are also plans for more transport aircraft to improve rapid deployment of troops and humanitarian missions. In August 2025, the U.S. approved a $346 million arms deal for Nigeria, adding precision bombs, laser-guided rockets, programmable fuse, and training, giving the Air Force the ability to hit terrorist hideouts and high-value targets with far greater accuracy.
The United States government has approved a possible foreign military sale of precision bombs rockets and related equipment valued at $346 million to Nigeria. The approval was contained in a statement from the Defense Security Cooperation Agency after notifying the U.S. Congress of the potential sale. The package also includes non-major defense equipment, including bomb components, impulse cartridges, high explosive and practice rockets. The agency says the proposed sale.
Nigeria's strategy is clear: build at home where possible and buy advanced systems when needed. This mix of local production and foreign technology is helping Nigeria respond to threats today, while preparing its engineers to design and produce more advanced weapons in the future. Nigeria's defense industry is still growing, but it is already producing rockets, bombs, drones, armored vehicles, and soon, its first helicopter. What do you think? Should Nigeria focus even more on building its own fighter jets and guided weapons? Tell us in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe to Inside Africa for more updates on innovation and progress across the continent.
Who taught you to hate the texture of your hair? Who taught you to hate the shape of your nose? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin to such extent that you bleach? Who taught you to hate yourself from the top of your head to the soles of your feet? Before you come asking Mr. Muhammad, does he teach hate? You should ask yourself, who taught you to hate being what God gave you?
Free Sudan! Boycott diamonds and gold! Free Sudan! Boycott diamonds and gold! We most definitely cannot forget about the people of Sudan!
Thanks for watching Afro Think Tank. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And follow me on Substack and Patreon for more content. Remember, it's Pan-Africanism or nothing.